play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombstats think we're gonna find Rainer.
Welcome back, everybody. I feel like it's been so long since we've seen each other, but I suppose it really hasn't been that long. But guess what? We got another stream here. We're gonna catch a Division B East this time game between the Saltscale Mrgles, setting the title here, versus the Chaos of the Waking Dragon. Let's go ahead and update all of that information. So we went from Division D to Division B. Are we going to see some different heroes? Yeah, probably. But let's take a look and see what we've got on our maps here as the teams are set up and ready to go. They were ready before I was. Saltscale Mrgles banning out Dragonshire and Sky Temple. Chaos of the Waking Dragon banned out Alterac Pass and Braxis Holdout. So our first map pick going to be on Infernal Shrines. And let's take a look. How are these teams doing so far in the standings? So Saltscale Mrgles and Chaos of the Waking Dragon. Okay, make sure I've got enough lines. I do. Let's take a look at those standings, shall we? So currently, oh, good thing I didn't show anything yet. I'm guessing... aha! It was not the pick of whoever I said it was. It was not the pick of Saltscale Mrgles. It was the pick of Chaos of the Waking Dragon. But anyways, where are we? Saltscale Mrgles sitting with 5 points. They're currently at number 4 in Division B East. Chaos of the Waking Dragon... no points yet. Let's take a look and see how are these teams performing. How many games have they played? What have they done? So Chaos of the Waking Dragon has played 2 games so far, and they've who have they played? They have played Demonic Entity Within and Party Time. So 2 teams that are, I believe they're both actually like, I think Party Time is a reskin of a team, basically. And the Demonic Entity Within is a newer team? I think that's the case because I don't recognize any of the names over here. So yeah, they must be a newer team, at least to the Nexus Gaming series. Over here for the Saltscale Mrgles, we do have some familiar names on this squad. They have also played Party Time. They defeated Party Time 2-1. And they played against Skiggly's Wigglies and defeated them 2-0. And let's go into the draft because things are all set and ready to go. As we're going to see an Ariel band coming out first. No Angel of Hope coming in this game. Now the real question is we did see, out of 2 games, we saw the Deathwing band twice. So do we stick with that? Is Division B going to be the first division tonight to show a Deathwing? Now, it would be a little bit unfortunate because the overlay I don't think is going to work with that. Which means that all those talents are just going to not show, I think. But not in this game. Deathwing is going to get banned out. You know what, let's go let Division B know that we're doing this. Who is it? Mrgles. versus Chaos. Letting them know that we're doing this so people can come watch. Gonna be a first pick Johanna, so Johanna was nerfed a little bit today. Also the ban on Decalthos. She lost a little bit of her health. Zerafi? We'll go with Zerafi. Welcome. Glad you could join us. Thanks for the follow. And gonna be the ETC and Malthael coming out here. So presumably the solo laner and tank coming out for Chaos of the Waking Dragon. And what do we see? So we don't have any wave clear yet. We just have primarily our tanks setting the stage for the rest of our teams. That's going to give us a Thrall and a Phoenix now. So, Entaro Adun. And I think I remember Synchrony playing a lot of Phoenix. It's been a little while, but I believe that was a thing at one point in Season 7. And by the way, that was an unintentional, but in my opinion, fantastic pun on the setting of the stage for ETC. Come on. Come on. Ana gonna be the third and final ban here. And I like the Ana. I mean, the grenade would just be brutal for ETC, who wants to be able to heal himself, for Malthael, who wants to be able to heal himself, especially on the shrines here where, you know, getting the soul rip out onto minions and to enemy heroes, you know, really keeps Malthael alive. It's gonna be the Rhaegar ban from the side of the Saltscale Mrgles, and we're gonna see a Medivh, as my good friend Recykic would say. And this is starting to shape up to be quite the entertaining group here. With that Medivh, you portal in, you got a power slide. We need some burst damage. Maybe they go Greymane. Like Greymane Malthael, could that work for them? Could they get enough damage? Probably, I think. I think that would just destroy somebody. Not against the Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix doesn't have any health anyways, but that's okay. I mean, onto Alexstrasza. Oh, it's gonna be Kerrigan. Oh my. So Kerrigan, like, again, this is a really strong combo for them to come in and, you know, portal in, they get the stun, they got another stun for follow-up. Malthael can get a last rites if they can get somebody low enough. And a lot of this team is, you know, I mean, other than the Johanna, they'd be susceptible to that. I mean, Phoenix could try to warp away, so that's what you've got, ETC's knockback, or Lucio's knockback, or Kerrigan's pull, or any number of ways to stall that out. You know, Alexstrasza could potentially Cleansing Flame. She could potentially Dragon Form if she can get that kind of frame perfect. Ice Block for Jaina. So, I mean, there are ways for them to deal with it. Potentially. But I think there's certainly the burden of execution, though, on Chaos of the Waking Dragon. So, they have the potential. Can they execute? As we get into game number 1 here. Sorry for the typing, folks. Just waiting on this to get set up here. As you can see from that wonderful loading bar. All right, I don't understand why the game sometimes puts me on the left, sometimes it puts me on the right, but whatever, we're on the left this time. Introducing the Saltscale Mrgles. On the Johanna, we got the Chopper. You know what, I'm just gonna pull this up so I can see the names. We got Blastem playing Thrall, Synchrony on the Phoenix, Marmara on Alexstrasza, and Idiom's gonna be playing the Jaina. It's the Saltscale Mrgles. Can't initiate whispers in a custom game, have to flame Idioms in party chat. Fair enough. On the right, we've got Chaos of the Waking Dragon. Truffleshuff gonna be playing the Lucio. Silent Shoe on the Kerrigan. Sheath on the ETC. Up here, we're gonna have Darth on the Malthael. And Medivh gonna be played there by J Schmo. I know there's no H there, but I feel like it's supposed to be there. Gonna go into that portal. Is it portal mastery? Is that the level 1? Yeah. So now Medivh able to set both sides of the portal, and he doesn't have to come out of bird form. He can just hang out as a bird. So we did see XP changes slightly in the globes today. So last hitting will get you the XP. Excuse me, the XP from those minions. But heroes like Medivh, you know, Medivh can just, as a bird, fly above it and just gather it. It's just his thing. I'm here to flame idioms on behalf of Synchrony. Well, there you go. Fair enough. Who names their team after a Murloc? I don't know, only half a dozen or so. The Eternal Portal that nobody takes. And I tell you, that's me on Medivh. I drop portals. They're great portals. They're the best portals. We have all the best portals. And everybody's like, no, I don't like that. All right, but the portal gives you 30 armor. No. But the portal saves your life. No. Is Marmara a sub? Excellent question. No idea. Idioms plays like a sub. Well, there you go. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. You can talk some mild-mannered trash about your own team. I'm okay with that. All right. Here comes Lucio looking for this Jaina. Idioms is going to get the power slide stun. Johanna coming in with the condemn, but the Kerrigan combo. How is Jaina? Never mind. Okay, good. But J-Smo might fall to the Phoenix, so a trade out. And you know what? That's a win, getting those Medivh stacks reset. Synchrony getting the interrupt on the warp. So now 2 for 1. So I still feel like that's a big win. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more XP over to the side of Chaos of the Waking Dragon, but losing the Medivh stacks, I didn't see how many he had, so maybe it wasn't too bad. Marmara is our main roster, says Megamuffin. There you go. Thanks for the clarification. Let's take a look at our solo lane here. They don't get enough love. We'll scope them out as the teams are clearing up siege camps, gathering siege camps, and in 15 seconds heading over to the first objective of the game, which is going to be a Frozen Punisher. And there's a power slide in onto the Phoenix. He's able to sneak away there. And now Lucio getting pretty low here. Half health. I gotta say, even with the CC, like the survivability on these low health heroes has been pretty impressive. So I'm assuming maybe that's just Alex Draza doing Alex Draza things. But big Kerrigan combo there. Didn't really matter though. Silent Shoe now the one falling as they get that condemn, and Phoenix ultimately getting the kill. Gonna get the ETC as well. And that is the power of this Arsenal synergy from Phoenix, getting the additional damage on those big phase bombs. Is that what it's called? Yes, phase bomb. Yep. So there you go. 3 kills to 2 so far as Synchrony looking for Darth. Malthael not gonna do too well into that Phoenix. Taking a little bit of free damage there, trying to maybe get that XP soak, but ultimately just too far forward. And the first Punisher of the game is going to go over to the Saltscale Mrgles. Now this Punisher here, like, they've got to address this. This cannot be left alone in the bot lane. They've got the Frozen Punisher. It's going to shut down the fort. J-Smo nearly getting taken out pretty much solo by the Punisher. Lucio trying to keep him healthy. The team's spreading out a little bit, but the Punisher is going to jump there onto the ETC. The Condemn coming out onto 4. And Medivh portaling out, and there you go. Raven's coming up from the Medivh portals. So getting a little bit of damage out of that. The Punisher sitting at half health. And that is going to give the Mrgles their first fort of the game at about 4:45-ish, roughly. And once again, we see the team taking these portals. Why are they taking these portals? Well, because of this right here. Given that Raven familiar. So additional damage and the slow. But Malthael here up facing off against the Thrall as Phoenix is going to come up And we can see there Phoenix getting those 3 repeater cannon attacks, and then that big phase bomb afterwards to get the additional range, I suppose radius and damage here. Now rotation coming up, looking for the Phoenix. They are gonna, looks like, invade, looking to get this combo stun onto the Phoenix. Can they get it? Oh, they do, and good night, Phoenix. No coming back from that. As we get the rest of the rotation here coming in from the rest of the team, although without Jaina, and that's a big challenge here to come into a 4-man squad with their DPS and tank and healer without your big burst damage there. And I feel like maybe Chaos thinks they're safe here, but they were just waiting for that Jaina. Jaina coming in now. ETC does get the power slide, but they're still on the hunt. Medivh here, but nobody able to take that portal, as it took just a moment too long. But that is going to be a successful camp invade for Chaos of the Waking Dragon. But check it out. In the mid lane, thanks to Jaina. Wall down, nice and prepped. Bot lane has a catapult pressing, but the XP fairly even now between these two teams. They will both get level 10 just about, in fact, almost probably within the same second. Looked very close here. Let's see if we get any surprises here. So far, not really. Both teams working on their siege camps here in the mid lane and the bot lane respectively. Phoenix getting that that bottom there. So we've got the Sundering, the Water Ellie, Purification Salvo, Cleansing Flame, and Blessed Shield for the side of Saltscale Mrgles. On the other side, we got the Maelstrom for that Kerrigan. Polybomb, Sound Barrier, Mosh Pit, and Last Rites. So power slide in onto the Phoenix, but no follow-up just at the moment. This is a 4v4 in the bot lane here. Top lane looks like they're getting a little bit of a 1v1 jousting kind of brawl going on here, just occasionally poking at each other. The Mrgles clearing up the mid lane. They want to keep this pressure going here. Medivh's sitting at 7 stacks right now, so needs to look for those stacks. Got to find a way to get to that 40 without getting himself killed, of course. Yeah, I think it was the same second. Yeah, that's fair, Sam. That's fair. I think if you start from the time that the first team got it, it was like a quarter second. It was almost immediately after. Gotta clip that. Yeah, clip everything. If there's a good play, make sure you clip it. Speaking of good plays, here comes the Purification Salvo, looking for the Darth, ultimately going to get the root going out. Medivh in danger, is going to be able to get away here. It looks like the... Oh, no, he's going back in. Oh, I thought he was going into bird form. He pops the Protect onto ETC. They get the kill onto Jaina. And the game pausing just briefly as they also get the kill onto Johanna. How? How is this happening? As the Cleansing Flame coming out, Medivh still in the back, has no health, somehow still alive and providing value to his team. Oh, and the power slide, do they get it? Oh, they get the boop. And Lucio getting the kill onto the Phoenix. Chaos of the Waking Dragon. It looked so bad for them at the start of that, and boy, did it turn around. And they're looking to get the first Punisher for their side here. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher. And with that, Saltscale heading off into the mid lane. Oh, glad we caught that quick rotation down onto the Alexstrasza. Alexstrasza not known for her ability to disengage from danger. Mega Muffin calling out the Kerrigan, saying Silent Shoe has undeniable mechanical prowess. You go, girl. So there you go. Big shout out there for the Kerrigan player, Chaos of the Waking Dragon. But in the meantime, this mid fort is going to go down, it looks like. We got a siege camp and we got 2 big DPS coming in onto this. Medivh doing what he can, getting some stacks as well, getting up to 12 on the Arcane Rift. And portaling out of danger. Let's check in back up at the top as the Punisher working on getting the first fort here for Chaos of the Waking Dragon in the opposite lane. So getting some pressure in the other lanes. They are still going to have to deal with pressure in both mid and bot, occasionally coming in the form of catapults. And as that is the case, we've got Medivh coming down here to clear up this lane while the rest of the team rotating to gather in the mid lane. They've got a wave coming up here. Maybe can get a little bit of damage onto this wall. Maybe not. The minions will. They got this. 13s for both sides. Want to take a look at this. What is this one? So circle of protection. So if they can be all gathered together, that's going to be a lot of shielding, but also arcane explosion. So in other words, a big burst of damage from a variety of targets in a small confined area. I can't imagine what could possibly go wrong for the other team. All right, level 15, both teams almost dead even in XP, just as we saw when they were reaching level 10. And I mean, that kind of shows you the value of the trickle XP as well. The passive XP, 2,000 there in favor of the Saltscale Mrgles, thanks to having that additional tower down for 5 minutes basically. And now they've had it for even longer because of that mid tower as well. So not keeping them too far here. But we do have the Shaman camp pushing up in the top lane, thanks to Malthael. As Medivh making use of that portal, getting out of danger there. Kerrigan, though, is in trouble. But the rotation coming in, and Medivh's coming in as well, so they're going to be able to get out of any danger they do find themselves in. Both teams now level 16, and level 16 talents online, so everybody's selected except for Malthael. He's yet to decide what he wants. As Jaina coming in with the Blizzard, we got the Condemn pulling the team together. There's no more minion, and the ETC Mosh whiffing, the Sundering coming out anyway. Chopper getting super low as the Purification Salvo just demolishing the chaos of the Waking Dragon. And that was a moment that looked pretty solid for Chaos there, and then went right in the opposite direction. I think that's another clip. Somebody clip that. Third Punisher of the game going to be an Arcane Punisher, as Thrall clearing up that pressure up in the top lane, and Lucio and Medivh doing the same here in the opposite sides. Trying to give enough time to make this work. Arcane Punishers originally did get a little bit of a nerf for their early game, but in their late game, they're still just as strong and just as dangerous with those arcane lasers, rifts, whatever they are. The beams of energy that are really very much of a pain in the neck. Now, Thrall is up top. We have a Medivh team here. I mean, they could quite literally portal in exactly on anyone they wanted to at this point. And again, I mean, Medivh can drop both halves of that portal. So even though he wasn't in a position directly to bring his team in, again, I mean, well, there you go. So 18 to 11 so far. Thrall coming in from above. So we're going to zoom out a little bit. Sorry if you're watching this on a telephone. Let's zoom back in here. There's the Purification Salvo. The Poly Bomb going out onto Johanna, but she's all by herself, so no spread. But they got to get out. Oh, Malthael's going to go down. The Blessed Shield coming out as well. And at least for right now, it looks like that's all the Mrgles are going to get. And I think at this point... Oh, they're going to go in? This seems super questionable, guys. What are you doing? Okay. They just wanted to say hi. Just a little moment to say, hey guys, we're still around. Anyways, I think their target has to be the Phoenix. I mean, they have to be able to get onto that Phoenix. He doesn't have a whole lot of health. There's not a lot of ways that they can, you know, really keep him alive either. So if they can interrupt that warp, then Phoenix just dies. But they have to get the combo onto him while also not dying themselves. So it's going to be up to Lucio with that sound barrier, amp it up to keep the team alive if they can get there. And we're going to see the Mrgles coming in They're not quite level 20, but they're going in with that Blessed Shield. ETC's falling very low. Polybomb is going to get spread around a little bit, but it's going to be Kerrigan falling in the back, looking for the Alex Strazas. Chopper falling low. There's Darth as well, and the Punisher is very low here, but the core is falling to 50%. Punisher going down, and with all 5 members alive and available here, getting interrupted on the mosh pit there. It's looking like this is going to be game number 1 going over to Saltscale Mrgles. Get that team photo moment in there. Ten kills to 8, so the kills overall were pretty balanced. You know, Chaos had some really fantastic plays, some great moments there. I think that first, you know, fight that they was up top lane, I believe it was you know, that was a solid like clip this moment. But on the flip side, Saltscale had a couple of those as well down in the bot lane at that siege camp, and then ultimately that final fight that we saw there over that bottom control point, that bottom shrine, really showcased the talent of the Mrgles in this. But again, I mean, Chaos of the Waking Dragon did a fantastic job. So if they can do that overall with a little bit better execution, and you know, just be a half a second faster than their opponents, I think they can make something work. Right? Yeah, a huge Ekeb. A huge contribution as to why Dragons lost is because their portraits were not matching. You hate to see it. Yeah, again, I mean, the kill count overall was relatively low until you know, we started getting some mostly team wipes there. Oh, let's go over to this. All right, so it looks like game number 2 is going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. NGS Season 7, top 2 maps, Infernal Shrines, Tomb of the Spider Queen. So clearly sticking with what they are used to here, as this looks like it was this selection once again by Chaos of the Waking Dragon. Hey, we got, is it It Me Dead? JP Dead? A Dead Santa and a Grinch? I love the Grinch. I love the Grinch. I wish I had that. I don't think they haven't gotten Allison yet, right? No, they still don't have Allison. Oh my gosh, Twitch. You gotta get this done. Let's take a look at our maps here. Started off with the bans going out on Dragonshire and Sky Temple coming from Saltscale Mrgles. Chaos of the Waking Dragon banning out the Braxis Holdout and Alterac Pass. Our first game number 1 there was on Infernal Shrines. Saltscale picked that. I'm sorry, Chaos picked that. Saltscale won that. And game number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen, selected by Chaos of the Waking Dragon. As we get into this draft. Should probably write down who they played. So last we saw these teams, they banned out the Ariel and Deathwing for Saltscale, Alarak and Kael'thas for Chaos. And we're gonna see the Johanna ban first. An interesting way to start the draft. They were first pick last time too, so I assume this means that they're potentially banning the Deathwing, so that leaves up the Ariel. So maybe they're looking to take Ariel. We're gonna stick with that Alarak ban. So, you know, Medivh and Lucio can get a lot of value on this map as well. You've got the short rotation, so you know if they feel that those are quality picks for them, we could still see those heroes. They are going to stick with banning out the Ariel, so they're going to force Chaos of the Waking Dragon to decide whether or not they want to leave Deathwing on the table, or if they want to keep Kael'thas as the ban. Again, Deathwing now available. They're gonna let both of them on the table. They're saying, all right, fine, we'll let you have one, but you can't have both. Interesting bans here. Quite the chess match between these two teams in the draft phase here. Okay. I had to look at the other screen to make sure that like I'm not missing something there. Nazebo is, so this is actually a really strong map for Nazebo. He just got a little bit of a nerf on his Thing of the Deep, so instead of getting an additional 5% bonus, he's going to get or I'm sorry, instead of 10% bonus, he's going to get 5% bonus for each stack. So ultimately 10% instead of 20%. Still pretty valuable when you're looking for that range. Could still go into spiders. I think that spiders kind of maybe edged up a little bit as you get a 2-second cooldown reduction on it now. Still no Deathwing, and either one of these teams at this point could still potentially pick it. Oh, I would love to see a Diablo and a Deathwing and both of them go into Lightning Breath. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure one of these two teams is going to ban Deathwing. It's probably going to be the Mrgles. Although, for what it's worth, Nazebo with a zombie wall, one of the just absolutely bonkers ways to deal with Deathwing. Unstoppable doesn't prevent you from walking out of a zombie wall. Hey, Murda, thanks for the raid. Welcome everybody over from Murda's cast. I hope it was an enjoyable one. We're in the middle of a Division B East game between Saltscale Mrgles and Chaos of the Waking Dragon, and they're leaving up. I mean, again, either one of these teams can take Deathwing, and they're daring them to do it. Hey, and Murda coming in with the sub. Thank you very much, my friend. I greatly appreciate it. 6 months of Murda love. You love to see it. Do we see the Deathwing? We do not see the Deathwing. The game of chicken. Do we go all the way through this draft with no Deathwing? Could it happen? There's only one left. I don't know, guys. Tixmaster, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Hope you enjoy the cast tonight. I probably should start typing in these names so that they pop up on the screen when we're... It is Deathwing. I knew we weren't going to make it all the way through. They were daring him to do it the whole time. I don't know if I would have taken it into this. I think that they've kind of set up to do it. You've got a couple of different ways to lock him down. You know, you've got the, what's that called? Entomb from Leoric. Also, Leoric does % damage. We did see that Deathwing got a little bit of a nerf. So we'll see how that goes. Who am I missing? Blaze... That's all right. Okay, Silent Shoe. Hey, somebody go post in Div B chat or general chat or something and say, hey, we got a Deathwing game over here. Don't ping people. Just say, hey, you know, it's existing. Did I really mistype? Wow. Okay. All right. So out of the gate, I want to let you guys know. I don't think you're going to be able to see Deathwing's talents. The overlay has not been updated to include Deathwing, so it may not show at all, but we'll give it a shot. So we'll see how Deathwing plays out in the... Oh, it is showing them, so never mind. So I don't know. Okay, cool. Well, I'm happy to see it. On the left here, currently up 1-0 we've got the Saltscale Mrgles. Blast, I'm going to be playing the Leoric. Idiom's on the Nazebo. Synchrony on Sylvanas. Did I do that right? That can't be right. Leoric, Nazebo, Sylvanas. Yeah. Marmara on Anduin. Chopper on Blaze. And over here on the right, that, by the way, that was the Saltscale Mrgles. I think I said that. Over here, Chaos of the Waking Dragon. Kind of appropriate for them to pick up the Deathwing. We've got Silencio playing the Deathwing. J-Smo on the Tassadar. Darth going to be playing the Hanzo. Sheath on the Diablo. And Truffleshuff on Lucio. Deathwing nerfs today were pretty big. Kind of thought he'd still be contested, though. He still seems like a really strong hero overall. But yeah, I think the nerfs are valuable, and they'll probably bring his win rate down to appropriate levels. He's still going to be, I think, really strong. And in this case, he's going to be the solo laner against Leoric, and that's a tall order. So gonna have to see how this goes for Silencio. And we can see here one life drain basically bringing Deathwing down to his first plate falling here. Jet Propulsion going in onto the Diablo, looking for these kills here. Diablo doesn't have a whole lot of souls, so his health is fairly low. Now Hanzo going into the Redemption build. So this is really interesting, because who are your primary targets in this, right? I mean, Deathwing is kind of a beast. He's going to take up a lot of real estate, and so it's going to be like he's kind of your natural focus. And so Hanzo then able to potentially get those auto attacks going on and get a lot of value out of that. So we'll see how that turns out. Now, Deathwing doesn't have a whole lot of self-sustain, but he does here at level 1. He's got this Dragon Soul. So when he uses his W ability in his melee form, his Destroyer form, it's going to do that big point-blank AoE burst and give him some additional healing. When he uses W ability, which I don't know the name of, in World Breaker form, actually I can look, it'll tell me. The Lava Burst, when he uses that, it's that circle on the ground that puts the lava on the ground. When it bursts, it does healing as well. So we'll have to keep an eye out for how that goes for him. That burst is a little bit harder to land. Sheath, however, getting very low, is 5 health. Gonna make it out. Check that out. Sheath gets the Tassadar shield, making it out. No kills in this game just yet, although I think Deathwing is at full health. So another aspect of Deathwing that works a little bit different. So a couple of things for him. First of all, he's unstoppable. Permanently can't do anything to this guy. You can't blind him. That was the one thing you could do until today, when they changed the unstoppable. You can't silence him. You can't slow him. You can't stun him. You can't do any of that stuff. Deathwing ignores you, basically. You are just a puny mortal. So that's one thing. He also has 2 forms, his World Breaker and Destroyer form. So he can be melee version or ranged version. So his kit, the abilities he can use, completely different, other than this one right here, other than this Lava Breath. But the other thing that is kind of supreme importance here for this team is he cannot be affected by Lucio's healing. He can't get a shield from Tassadar. He just doesn't care. His allies aren't really allies to Deathwing, so he just doesn't care. Now at level 4 here, going into Heat Wave, so he's going to get additional damage when he hits heroes with his Incinerate or the Lava Burst. So again, that's going to help his overall healing, his self-sustain there. And with this Siege Camp in the bot lane here, Synchrony coming in, getting a lot of damage onto the Destroyer of Worlds here. And that jump in probably is going to be the end of Deathwing. There's the first blood as Deathwing will be taken out. Now that lunge forward is Deathwing's E ability. It allows him basically the only mobility that he's got, and it's only available when he's in his melee form. All of his abilities take a brief moment to catch up, 1/2 to 3/4 of a second, so a little bit telegraphed as Jet Propulsion coming in, keeping the Diablo away from that. Sylvanas is level 7, did come up here for Saltscale and Mrgles. And they've already gotten 10 gems turned up here for the Mrgles. Now, another thing, the one thing that does affect Deathwing, however, right here, Meltdown. So Blaze, if he's up in Deathwing's face, is going to be able to reduce Deathwing's damage by up to 35%. Not only that, but at level 13, he can take the Flame Stream talent, which could potentially reduce his spell power by 50%, I think, potentially, if he hits with both streams. So, you know, this team on the side of Saltscale Mrgles is kind of a Deathwing killer in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect it. Other than that, Leoric, right? You've got ways to block him in, prevent him from getting out of danger. So the unstoppable doesn't mean anything if you just can't go past a wall. They've got the potential to do pretty significant damage when he's in that entomb, whether it's from Sylvanas throwing out those Shadow Daggers or the Nazebo with his spiders and toads. And then they can just reduce his damage. So, you know, that Fire Breath doesn't do a whole lot of damage if you're doing, you know, 10 per tick instead of 50. And those ticks are very fast, by the way. It's like Tassadar attack speed. But speaking of Tassadar, so we're going to get the jump in from the Diablo, trying to look for this Nazebo. Nazebo is getting pretty low, but is going to get saved by the cavalry as Lucio going to be traded out there. So a lot of damage onto the Nazebo, but not quite enough, as the Web Weavers coming in to play on the side of the Saltscale Mrgles, and they're going to rotate from top into mid, looking for this Tassadar perhaps, as they get level 10s. Tassadar sitting about half health here, so has to be a little bit careful as Deathwing as well, getting very low here from the Leoric. And I think that I think this is pretty much all but gone in the bot lane, especially with Deathwing. And there you go. I'm so glad that we caught that. Not for you, Deathwing. I'm sorry to see you go, but I'm glad that we caught it on stream. And here, the 4-man push in onto Diablo. A lot of ults being used there. But why not? I mean, that's 20 gems that just got taken out. Diablo's souls now reset to 0. So what do we got? We have that Entomb. We have the Ravenous Spirit, the Light Bomb, the Wailing Arrow, and Combustion. Over here for the Chaos of the Waking Dragon, though, we've got the Apocalypse. So no double breath Dream. Oh, I'm so sad. We have the Force Wall. I'm skeptical, but we'll see how it goes. Just because there's so many walls on both teams could get problematic. Spooky Hand missing there on the Deathwing, so he's just going to go ahead and walk away and not worry about that. We do have, however, the Dragon Bellowing Roar, so that's a point blank AoE Fear. Apocalypse. Now on cooldown. That's about all I can say about that. And we do have a Sound Barrier. Keep in mind again that Sound Barrier does not affect the Deathwing. Dragon, Arrow, and I already mentioned the Apocalypse, so these are things that happened. Redemption still not being finished is a pretty big problem since he's the main DPS, absolutely. And here comes the Combustion, is gonna land out there onto the Lucio. However, Diablo going to fall first. Now Lucio in the wall using that push off, but is not going to be able to get out. The Dragon Fire coming out into 3 basically. As Leoric now all by himself in the middle of this team. I don't think he's got Wraithwalk. I think he was going in to try to see if he couldn't help deal with that that problem of a dragon in the face. But the Web Weaver's coming back. Also, I do want to point out here, level 12, Nazebo has 151 stacks. That's pretty solid. Definitely on track to get that 175 before level 20, which I assume is the case. There's Diablo going in after the Sylvanas. They have the damage potentially? Maybe? No? Not quite? Well, Hanzo now has Redemption, but he's got to survive to make that work. So he's going to jump out of the zombie wall. The Spider getting, I think, 3 people with its wave of energy there. As Diablo there does get the Fear to push Leoric off, but again, this is a very, very challenging setup for the Deathwing to go into. So actually, Murda, just curiosity, you said that you had a stream or a game earlier with Deathwing. Who won? Did Deathwing win or was he defeated? Combustion going out onto 3, so that's a huge amount of damage here. We're going to see the Sound Barrier, but he's too far away to save the Diablo. And Lucio may fall as well, as the Hanzo arrow coming in did delay things just a moment, but that's going to be a triple kill as Darth now jumping away. Never mind, not enough. And Saltscale Mrgles looking to close this out. Deathwing coming in, doesn't have enough health really to do anything about this. 10 minutes and 2 seconds. So there you go. So that is there a, oh, there is a team. There is a game starting up here. RavenX is going to be starting a stream here shortly. All right, so let's see if we can get the captain in from the Saltscale Mrgles here as I showcase your talents for just a moment. When I say talents, I mean stats, and now I'll show you talents. Yeah, right, Tempest? Like you go to Zebo so you can get to level 20. Didn't even get to level 20. That's so sad, right? Aaron Vol, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Gotta find my channel there. Alrighty, welcome. So, is anybody else coming?
It's just us two. It's Idioms and Synchrony. How's it going, guys?
Well, I mean, I'm good.
How's it going, man?
Yeah,
I guess I was talking to all your fans out there.
There you go. How are the fans doing tonight? Yeah.
You know, I hope one day that they're my fans too.
There you go. There you go. Well, congratulations on your victory there. That was a pretty solid win. I want to talk to start with about game number 2, and then we'll just talk about random things as we go back and forth. But you know, the ban on Deathwing in game number 1 was, you know, okay, so he's done, so be it. And then you get to game number 2 and I'm like, oh my god, it's a game of chicken. Who's going to take the Deathwing, right? And who's going to ban the Deathwing in the second phase? And nobody does, and I started looking at your guys' draft and I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good for Deathwing. Like, you may be unstoppable, but you can't walk through walls. And Blaze can reduce damage pretty significantly. So, I mean, it was pretty clear to me that you guys were, like, baiting them to take the Deathwing. Was that the plan, like, ultimately?
Yeah, I mean, game 1, we didn't really want to play around the Deathwing. We just kind of wanted to draft our own thing. Game 2, we wanted to see if they would ban it, and then we just kind of built the draft to beat it. So, Nazebo's really good against it. Sylvanas is quite good against it. Like you said, Blaze is really, really good against it. Wasn't super concerned. We had a Leo in the off lane, which was just good overall. So they kind of fell for it and they picked it. I'm not sure how much they played it, but against that comp, Deathwing is really not good at all. But he did almost kill me when I cast Rapid Spirit.
At the end or someplace else? I must have missed that.
It was like over the second turn in, we were kind of fighting up here. Yeah, he just stood in that narrow hallway and casted it, and I tried to trade up with him with Ravenous Spirit, but it didn't work out, so I ran away.
Yeah, imagine like being me and watching 3 of my teammates just stand in a full queue and screaming at them the entire time to get the hell out because none of them are moving.
Who knew it did
And
that
just to
much
clarify,
damage?
that's Synchrony who played Sylvanas?
Yes.
That game?
Yeah, I was the guy feeding on Nazebo, so.
And then of course Blastum on Leoric was in the mid lane, like trying to come around. I don't know exactly what he was trying to do. But then you guys eventually did disengage and then just kind of left your Leoric to die because
I don't think the call there was to really chase into them and fight. We just kind of poked them out, and then it happened to be that we over chased into that area.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. We were out clearing them by so much. Like, they didn't pick a very good draft to clear those waves. So we were just way ahead once we hit level 7, and we just started chasing down hallways, and I was like trying to team fight as Nazebo. It wasn't really pretty to watch, I'm sure, but we had a plan.
Sure. So I'm gonna just read chat for you guys here. Just a couple of things real quick. Mega Muffin says, "Can we have only sync talk?" Thanks.
Wow.
Dankstrom
so
saying, tell Idioms that Sync is still the better DPS player. So
okay.
yeah, a fair amount of shade coming out from some familiar names.
I feel like your fans are my fans, and I really appreciate everybody in Twitch chat. I don't know who Mega Muffin is, but I'm sure he plays on a team somewhere.
Mega Muffin is from Beast Coast.
I don't know what team that is. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know what Beast Coast is.
Fair enough.
No
All right, so game number 1. So we had that was a little bit closer. Game number 2 was pretty solid. You guys played it well. Game number 1 was a little bit closer. It started off with some fights that Chaos of the Waking Dragon, like, they had one fight up at the top that I was like, oh, this looks really bad for them, and then suddenly you guys just die.
Is that the one where I walked up to the Medivh portal and then just kind of stood around and waited for them to teleport on top? Because that was, that one was fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're done your question there, Arrow. I don't mean to interrupt you, but game 1 was, they were definitely out rotating us. They're catching us in rotations from the bot mid rotation. We didn't really clear the way. I just kind of fed rotating, just running into an ETC because I did not respect them at all. We were able to control the first shrine. Second shrine, we ended up not fighting on the shrine at all.
I want to interrupt you real quick. And what you mean by I didn't respect them at all was I didn't respect the power of the ETC interrupting my rotations and potentially leading to kills, not that you didn't respect the player. Just for people at home, just want to clarify, but continue.
Yeah, no, that's a good clarification. It's not that I didn't respect the player, it's I didn't respect the ETC stopping my rotation. Just because I felt we were so far ahead with the rotation that he was just going to be like, yeah, whatever, and just let me go. But they just all kind of converged on me. But yeah, second shrine, we kind of fought in the lane as opposed to objective, which wasn't our strength as a team comp. But once we kind of fixed that stuff up, I thought it was a pretty clean game. We had a lot of clean fights after that.
Yeah, and so I mentioned the one fight that did not go your guys' way, but then the next 2 big team fights kind of went the exact opposite. Like, at first it looked really bad for was it Chopper? Chopper was playing Johanna. Like, there was that one over that bottom siege camp that they took the siege camp and then stayed around, ultimately getting Chopper into a position of being nearly dead, and then suddenly Phoenix, showing up with the crazy damage and just destroying the team there.
Yeah, we set up the Phoenix pretty good in that fight. I think we also blew Dragon in that fight, which wasn't preferable, but it did put us ahead on the map, right? So yeah, you win some, you lose some. I felt like once we cleaned up our fights and just let the Phoenix do the damage with the ult, I think he had like triple the damage of anyone else on their team. We just kind of set him up for a good fight, and once we started fighting on shrines, I thought it was pretty clean. Like I said, I didn't really have a lot of complaints. There was good communication and just cleaned her on up.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty clean. You mentioned about the interrupted rotations and things like that, but ultimately you guys still had 2 forts down, at the beginning of the game to ultimately there one on the second Punisher there. So, I mean, while the game in many ways was, certainly closer than game number 2, relatively close at points there for Chaos of the Waking Dragon, you guys did play your game well. You stuck with it, communicated well. It was clear that you guys were communicating well. And then obviously finished that game out pretty well there in that bot lane. So,
yeah, I thought they played really well. Like, I didn't really like their team comp. I'm not blaming them. I just didn't really like their team comp. Having Medivh the solo ranged, but they capitalized with aggressive engages. So I definitely respect what they did. I can see where their game plan was, and I can see where it fell apart. So I think they'll definitely learn from it. They seem like a pretty decent team.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're a newly I don't know if they're a newly formed team, but they're certainly a new team to NGS. I think they're like a sister team of the Order of the Sleeping Dragon, if I remember correctly, something like that. So, good to have them here in Division B East with our teams.
The friendliest division in all of NGS.
It's been going much better this season so far. Yeah, so far. Who is this? I think Thrall carried, says Batmanger.
That was the Thrall player, so don't read that.
Well, there you go.
Literally, the only person giving him credit is himself, but he played well.
Well, you know what?
He played really well.
I mean, the Thrall did get some good sunders. There were some that were unnecessary too, but
yeah,
they work.
initially we didn't draft the Thrall for the Sunder, but then we kind of changed our comp up and he had to go Sunder. So I'm not sure if he usually plays with that. The Earthquake was like so disgustingly good there, but we didn't have anything for the UTC mosh pit.
Makes sense. Well, I think you guys played a really good matchup tonight, and you guys have now won. This is your third win. I know you won your 2-0 against Skiglies, and then you had a 2-1 against somebody else last week.
Yeah, Mrgles hit squad or party time.
Right. I was gonna say they changed their name, so yeah, party time. So that'll put you tied up with at least the current #1 leader of Division B East, as I'm aware of it.
Is that like a little pat on your own back there,
A
Aaron?
little bit it might be. It might be a little bit of a pat on the back. Not gonna lie.
I kind of feel like it was, and I think that's fine, man. You guys are playing well this season.
Well, good deal. So at the end of this, I always like to ask for, basically a highlight moment that you enjoyed, whether it's something you guys did, something your team did, something your opponents did. What was something from the match tonight that, you felt was a really solid moment? And I'm going to start with Synchrony.
I'm kind of gonna give it to the other team with their early rotations and Enshrines. The top invade into that camp with me and Thrall up there was.
Oh, that was good.
We knew it was coming. Like we said, like, hey, somebody needs to watch this, and I stood over there and I was like, I'll watch it. And I saw ETC, and like my first thought was like, I'm dead. Like I'm not getting out of this. And like I looked down, and my other 3 teammates are in mid lane, and I was like. This was like a really like fast rotation by them. It was excellent. I think. So I think I'm gonna give it to them there.
Good call. Idioms.
I wish I could be a good sport like Sync and say something about the other team. But I'm literally going to talk about myself here. On Tomb, I was obviously playing the Nazebo to perfection. I'm sure everybody saw. And I jebaited 4 people to chase me, and they all died. And I thought that was great. It was when we were doing our rotations. Diablo charged me against the wall, and then I had 4 people chase me. I didn't even panic once, and Synchrony can attest to that.
Oh yeah, it was completely 100% not planned.
Planned. I think you meant to say it.
Oh, sorry, planned. Yeah, no, that's
there we go.
I can only imagine you squealing like a little girl as you ran around that Web Weaver turn-in area, sitting at about 100 health.
Anybody that knows me knows that I was screaming, "I am dead" the whole time.
The whole time. As soon as the first stun went off, he goes, "I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead." Like,
yeah.
All right.
I literally say nothing useful except that I'm dead and hope that people save my worthless life.
Fair enough. Well, good deal. Want to shout out 8bit/Dragon for the 100 bits. Appreciate it here. Any shout outs that you guys would like to have for the rest of Twitch land there?
Synchrony, take it away.
Shout out to you, Arrow. Thanks for picking us up. Hopefully we made it interesting. Shout out to Dank for always being my #1 fan and always helping me flame idioms in every single opportunity that we ever get.
Wow.
Shout out to Mega for tuning in as per usual. Shout out to the rest of the team. I think we played really well today and still have some stuff to work on, but I think we're doing really well. And shout out to the rest of Div B. Hopefully that, well, maybe not as spicy as last season. Hopefully the games are still just as good as they were.
Yeah, I just hope to finish higher than 11th place.
There you go. Seems like a noble goal.
Yeah, last season was rough, so gotta finish high.
There are 12 teams in the bracket, so.
Yeah, I like.
I think we can still hit 12th.
I think we could, honestly.
Could happen. Well, good deal. And Dankstrom coming in right at the end there. That's all Idioms ever screams. He's such a feeder. So there you go.
Truth bomb.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. Congratulations on your victory. Make sure you report your match, and good luck with the rest of your season.
All right,
Thank
peace,
you,
everybody. Thank you, Arrow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's going to wrap us up for the night. However, there is one last cast going on out there in Twitch land, and I'm going to tell you who it is in just a moment. I believe that it's a Div D game between Psystorm and We the Pepegas. Is that correct? It is. So we're going to go ahead and send you over there to check out Raven's stream and, check out these new teams. I I believe they're both new to NGS, so should be some excitement. Hope you enjoyed tonight. Really appreciate you stopping by. I want to say thank you again to Mrgles for the subscription. Very much appreciated. And to 8bit/Dragon for the 100 bits. And, of course, putting on a good show earlier today. Have a wonderful night, guys.